Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I'm Gift or Gete in our major story. Presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, returns to the country after 2 weeks break in the United Kingdom. Also in this program, farmers in Abuja endorse the re-election bid of President Goodluck Jonathan. Attorney General of the Federation, Muhammadu Adoke, says he is not the one sponsoring the various anti-election suits. And outside Nigeria, a group of influential British MPs say the autonomy granted the former British colony of Hong Kong and return to China is gradually being eroded. Good to have you. Stay tuned with us. Now details of the headlines and other stories. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, is back in the country from the United Kingdom after a 2-week break from the campaign trail. The APC flag bearer arrived at Abuja at about 5:40 a.m. and declared that he was physically and mentally fit to continue soliciting votes of Nigerians in March 28 presidential elections. Buhari, who was accompanied by his deputy campaign director, General Sani Olorunnibe Mamura, told journalists that he took some time off the campaigns to get some rest. Details in this report.
It's just before dawn on Friday, but a small crowd of people had gathered here as early as possible in anticipation of the arrival of the APC presidential candidates. Also in the crowd were journalists who had been on vigil at the airport as soon as news filtered out about the impending arrival of General Buhari. The British Airways flight touched down just after 5 a.m. and after a few minutes of formalities, the APC presidential candidate strolled out accompanied by close aides, including Senator Olorunnibe Mamura. This is the first local sighting of Buhari in 2 weeks, and journalists were prepared to get as much information out of him on his health status.
Well, I just went home for a couple of weeks to rest. That's what I did.
He also did not deny claims that he was in a hospital, but insists that he is fit.
What's wrong for me? Go to hospital. Am I not here now? Aren't you seeing me? Very young. Have you seen a sick man?
Buhari did not even think that his 2-week absence will have any effect on his party's campaign. This, according to him, is because APC is not a one-man show.
One man doesn't make a party. A party, don't forget that we are a number of opposition parties that come together to form APC. So no one man is the party. This party belongs to all the parties that come together. Okay.
And now that the APC candidate is back in the country, he says he cannot wait to return to the field to spearhead the change movement.
Cassava farmers in Abuja have endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan for the March 28 presidential elections. The farmers who held a solidarity rally to show their support for the president also expressed confidence in the leadership style of President Goodluck Jonathan, especially in the area of fertilizer supply. Pius Samo has more.
This is the first time cassava farmers are coming out in their numbers to express support for any of the presidential candidates. They say President Jonathan has done more for farmers than any other government led by the People's Democratic Party. This group of farmers have consequently resolved to sustain the advantages they are enjoying under the Jonathan administration by backing him for a second term. Now, to ensure the success of their initiative, they mobilized their members across Abuja in a show of support for the president.
Cassava farmers are nothing, to write about. You see our hands when we open our legs, we see wounds. To show that we are suffering and then farming, with ordinary hoes and cutlass. But today, a lot have been provided. Tractors, things, mechanized farming now we are in.
Some of them came from as far as Abaji and other farming communities in the FCT. For this man, he is happy leaving his farming business for a day to show love for President Jonathan.
Well, we are here to show up support for the re-election of President Goodluck Jonathan. Somebody asked me, what has he done to be re-elected? And I asked, what has he not done to be re-elected? The man has done so much. He has touched almost all facets of our national life. The agricultural sector, the power sector, the transmission sector, so he deserves to be re-elected. And a lot of people have this wrong impression that when you see groups gathered like this, they are being sponsored by the government in power. The answer is no. We came here because we have seen what he has done, and we know if he's given the opportunity, he will do more.
As the election approaches, members of the group say they will work for the success of the president's re-election bid. Some of them argued that there is no better time to support the president than now.
For the first time in the history of farmers, a local peasant farmer can boast of getting fertilizers at very cheap subsidized rates without going through the middlemen who were turning it into a racketeering business. I have been a beneficiary of that, where you can get a bag of fertilizer for 2007. And also the government has made inputs very, very much available at very subsidized rates to farmers. So today we have increased productivity in our farms.
And now that the Cassava Farmers Association is supporting President Jonathan, they say they cannot wait to cast their vote for the PDP come March 28. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Bini Traditional Council says the Oba of Bini, Erediowa, has not endorsed any candidate for a political party for any elected position in the forthcoming general elections. The council made this known while briefing journalists at the palace of the Oba on issues surrounding political activities in the state. Some palace chiefs have earlier been reported to have made claims and counterclaims over the endorsement of some candidates, including President Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari on behalf of the Oba. While reading a communique on the issue, the Iyase of Bini, Sam Igbe, and the council noted that the Uku Akpolokpolo Oba of Bini has never mandated any of his chiefs to speak or make any political statement on his behalf, especially to the choice of a political leader for favor in the forthcoming election. It further stated that it has become worrisome to the Oba Palace that a previous statement made by the monarch during the visit of the Crown Prince and Ediai King and Uselu to President Jonathan several months ago is being unscrupulously used in the media by overzealous politicians to whip up sentiments for their party, especially in Edo South Senatorial District. Edward stated that the Oba regarded all politicians under his kingdom as his subjects and prayed to the Almighty God and the ancestors to provide good leaders who were interested in the welfare of the people through the provision of security, basic infrastructure, and employment for the unemployed citizens. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Muhammad Adoke, has denied funding anti-election lawsuits. The AGF made this known in a statement in Abuja on Friday by his senior special assistant Peter Akpe, faulted at an article published in an online medium that he is secretly funding anti-election suits through his cronies. The statement said that the article sought to portray the Attorney General as a person actively using other people, named and unnamed, to scuttle the forthcoming elections through the filing of frivolous suits. The AGF's aide said after reading the article, he initially dismissed it as a mere tale emanating from the fertile imagination. According to him, this relationship with Adoke shows that the minister cannot be associated with such lawsuits. Akpe said Adoke, as one public officer that has the moral conviction and courage to speak the truth at all times in the defense of national interest, no matter whose ox has God, has said that the position of the office of the Attorney General is a position of public trust. The Independent National Electoral Commission has released a list of registration areas in 12 states where it will conduct a field testing of smart card readers on Saturday, March 7th. INEC plans to hold the mock trial of the card readers in 225 polling units and 358 voting points in 12 wards. A statement issued in Abuja by the spokesman of the INEC chairman, Kayode Dowu, showed that the field testing will take place in Port Harcourt City, Rivers, Onigbongbo Ward in Ikeja for Lagos State, Damimore in Ado-Ekiti, Abakaliki Ebonyi, and Gasol Taraba. Others are Kumbosto, Kano, Bonza, Kebbi, Kokona, Nasarawa, Shiroro, Niger, Agwata, Anambra, Osimili South, Delta, and Jamare, Bauchi. INEC says eligible voters in the 12 registration areas are 171,857, while it hopes to involve 1,602 electoral officials and 941 security personnel. As the stimulation exercise for the smart card readers loom underway in 12 states of the Federation, the Independent National Electoral Commission has restated its readiness to conduct a credible and acceptable general elections. Speaking at the Stakeholders Forum in Ado-Ekiti ahead of the exercise, INEC promises that it will not be partisan during the polls.
In another but elaborate awareness conference, INEC explains the reason behind the card readers test run and the modus operandi.
Under real settings, to determine the efficiency of the machines and identify problems, if any, with a view to rectifying such problems.
Since the usage of the card readers, as explained by the Commission, is to add credibility to the conduct of elections, INEC allays the fears of stakeholders against partisanship while stemming the cries for the removal of the chairman, Atahiru Jega.
Jega is not sellable. Jega is not for any particular political party, and the Commission under his leadership is just committed to doing a good job, not for any political party, but a job that will meet the yearnings, the popular aspirations of the majority of Nigerians.
Olurede further appraised the workability of the card readers as he admonished electorates to embrace the technology just like any other.
We are in the kitchen now to do this advocacy so that people can see for themselves that, look, it's not rocket science at all. You use mobile phone, you also use the ATM to cash, to make transactions in the bank, to transfer money, to credit people's account, to do all kinds of things. You should have the same level of believability in the workability and the doability of the card reader.
The simulation exercise cutting across 12 states of the Federation will no doubt show the level of INEC readiness for the polls. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The People's Democratic Party says Lagos residents should be protesting against former Governor Bola Tinubu rather than joining the solidarity march called by the All Progressives Congress in support of its national leader. This, it says, is because they deserve to know how the APC leader acquired the properties and assets outlined in a recent documentary ad on a private television station. Spokesman for PDP's presidential campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, made this call at a news conference in Abuja ahead of the planned rally to drum up support for Tinubu. He also claimed that the opposition party has mobilized youths with 10,000 naira each to show their support for the former Lagos governor.
It is sardonic that the APC is mobilizing its members and supporters in Lagos and environs for a march to sing songs in Tinubu's honor and chant his praises when, in fact, the people of Lagos, having now known the extent of his manipulative and acquisitive stranglehold on the economy of the state, should be the ones to embark on a spontaneous protest against the will of one man to perpetually subjugate the people to an ungodly economic and political control. We make bold to say that if there should be any rally or protest in Lagos, such should be directed against the exposed fake lion of Bodilon. The people should use the rally to demand to know how he acquired the humongous items of property listed against his name in the squalid yet revelatory documentary.
Lagos State High Court, sitting in Ikeja, has granted the prayers of the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, for an accelerated hearing on the case he filed against AIT. The court has fixed March 16th for hearing in the suit. Tinubu's team of lawyers, led by Wole Olanipekun, are seeking an order restraining AIT from producing or continuing to broadcast a documentary the claim is defamatory, pending the determination of the suit. The documentary was first aired on Sunday, March 1, and has continually been aired on a daily basis since then. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Do stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife and Moten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Welcome back. Now, if you've just joined us, a recap of our major headlines. Presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, returns to the country after 2 weeks' break in the United Kingdom. Farmers in Abuja endorsed the re-election bid of President Goodluck Jonathan. Attorney General of the Federation, Muhammad Adoke, says he is not the one sponsoring various anti-election suits. Don't forget that for more information on CoreTV News, you can catch us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter, CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV News. In continuation of his re-election bid, Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has been meeting with various groups to solicit their support. The governor, who has met with traditional rulers, taxi drivers and pensioners, assured them all of the readiness of his administration to continue to provide their needs. The governor, who spoke in Yoruba, urged them to allow the good works of his administration to continue. The presidency says President Goodluck Jonathan is to lead government officials as well as spokesmen and women on an outdoor physical training exercise on Saturday in Abuja. This, it says, is with a view to promoting sports and fitness in Nigeria. The training exercise, which will start at 7 a.m., will include a walk from the presidential villa by President Jonathan, accompanied by top government officials. Presidential spokesman Ruben Abati said in a statement that the program, which will also include jogging, physical stretches, and light acrobatics, will culminate in a solidarity rally for President Jonathan at the Eagle Square. It added that sports personalities including Mary Onyali, Austin Eguavon, Kanwankwo, Joseph Yobo and Chika Chukwu Mary J are expected to participate in a physical exercise and solidarity rally. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan has extended his heartfelt commiserations to the Awujale of Ijebuland, Sikiru Adetona, and his people on the death yesterday of one of the town's most illustrious sons, Bayo Kuku. President Jonathan similarly condoles members of the Kuku family, as well as the government and people of Ogun State, on the passage of the renowned Ogbeni Oja of Ijebuode. The president says he shares the family's grief as Amon Kuku, a highly respected businessman and philanthropist who touched many lives positively in Ijebuode, Ogun State and Nigeria as a whole. He believes that Kuku will be remembered and honored across the country and beyond as a trailblazing entrepreneur and administrator, whose career heights and highlights included the exemplary leadership role as president of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. President Jonathan, while praying that Almighty Allah will grant Kuku eternal rest and comfort all those who mourn him. The Nigerian authority have formally arraigned the alleged mastermind of the Nyanya bomb terminal bombing, Aminu Oguche, and 5 others on an 8-count charge on terrorism. The suspects were docked at the Federal High Court in Abuja, but pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Counsel to Oguche, Hamid Raji, made an oral application for the transfer of the alleged bombers from the custody of the Department of State Service to Kuje prison, but prosecution counsel Mohammed Dewey objected on the grounds that the suspect would better be protected in the DSS custody. In a short ruling, trial judge Justice Hamid Mohammed, relying on Section 27 of Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, held that the security agency has the power to detain a suspected terrorist. He adjourned the case till March 17th and ordered the accused persons to remain with the DSS.
It will be oppressive for an accused person to remain with the investigator when the investigation has been concluded. It will make a better sense and a fairer sense of justice if the accused person is kept with another agency and not necessarily with the investigator. That is just the point. But disappointment, no. His lordship has ruled, and that is it.
The All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Organization has called on President Goodluck Jonathan to bring back the missing Chibok girls to their parents rather than sending emissaries and making more pledges. Spokesman for the campaign team, Garba Shehu, said in a statement issued in Abuja that the only thing Nigerians have been hearing almost a year after the abduction are failed promises and dashed hopes. According to Shehu, the government began by claiming that some of the girls were rescued before expressing doubt about the situation and later alleging that a ceasefire as well as a hostage release agreement had been reached with Boko Haram. He insisted that no amount of money, disbursement or promises would assuage the pain and extinguish the torment, adding that all the parents require is to have their children back with them. The APC campaign spokesman also regretted the initial 2-week delay, during which he noted that the President Jonathan said nothing on the abduction. The trial of former Kogi State Governor Abubakar Adu continued in Abuja with a witness detailing how several millions of naira, totaling about 926 million naira, were lashed into Diamond Bank account of Welcome Nigeria Limited between May 29, 2001 and July 23, 2003. Uchenna Agbagara, who is a relationship officer with the bank, identified a statement tendered by the prosecuting counsel and also told the court that he printed it from the bank system when he was invited by the EFCC. The commission alleges that the ex-Kogi State Governor took money from the First Bank account of Directorate of Rural Development of Kogi State and lodged it into the Diamond Bank POC account of Welcome Nigeria Limited, a company that handled most of his building projects during his tenure. The case has been adjourned to March 31st and April 1 and 2, 2015 for continuation of hearing. Prince Audu has been prosecuted alongside a former Director General of the Directorate of Rural Development in his administration, Alpha Mustafa, for allegedly misappropriating 10.9 billion naira. The Ogun State chapter of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council has planned to embark on a 3-day warning strike. The said industrial action is to commence from Tuesday, 10th of March, in respect of the deduction of their 4-month salaries, which the council has described as wickedness on behalf of the state government. Olajumoke Olatunji has more in this report.
After a series of letters that were claimed to have been unattended to, the Ogun State chapter of the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, which is an association of senior civil servants of Nigeria, has decided to embark on a 3-day warning strike on behalf of the state civil service. Speaking on behalf of the council, the State Secretary Mudiu Bello says after a series of negotiation and dialogue concerning the deduction of their 4-month salaries, which includes October to December 2014 and January 2015 respectively, proved abortive. They considered the strike necessary to drive home their points.
Sequel to the refusal of the state government to accede to the demand of workers in the state public service over the unpaid 4 months deductions made from their salaries October, November, December 2014 and January 2015. The Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council, that is JNC, on behalf of the state public servants, hereby issued a 3-day warning strike effective from 10th Tuesday to 12th Thursday, March 2015, to drive home their demands.
Another case made by the council is the unremitted contributory pension funds, which they say is against the constitution of the labor laws.
In realization of plea made by the government, Labour agreed to defer further negotiation on the issue of outstanding contributory pension fund deductions until after the general election. In view of the foregoing, state public servants are hereby directed to stay away from their duty post from 10th Tuesday, March to 12th Thursday, March 2015.
This strike, they say, is just a preamble to what is expected if nothing positive comes up from the state government. Olajumoke Olatunji, CoreTV News, Abeokuta.
The Nigerian Dental Association says good oral health is significant for a healthy society. Oluwase Adegoke, who was at the press briefing organized as part of preparations to mark 2015 World Health Day, World Oral Health Day, filed in this report.
This year's World Oral Health Day is tagged Smart for Life, celebrated every year on the 28th of March. The president of the Nigerian Dental Association, Bode Jarobe, says the aim is to provide occasion for global, regional and national activities related to oral health.
Relatively simple and inexpensive measures can help prevent the highlighted disease conditions and thus reduce the high burden of oral diseases including brushing twice daily with fluoride-containing toothpastes. Reducing the intake of sugary foods and drinks and limiting their consumption to meal times, cutting tobacco use, and reducing alcohol intake with regular visit to the dentist at least once every 6 months, of course that amounts to twice in a year, also help prevent oral diseases.
The president added that awareness to the oral care is better off now than some years back.
I tell you point blank that there's a lot of improvement and we are still going to do a lot more, like I highlighted in my speech. With the formulation of the National Oral Health Policy, it's so designed that once it's well implemented, the average Nigerian will have very good oral health care.
The vice president of the association, Fumi Ashiwaju, says fluoride is very important for good oral health care.
Talk about supplements, that's what I would call it. Fluoride in milk, fluoride in water, fluoride in all those other things. There should be a situation analysis. Now, if the patient lives in an environment, for example, where water is not fluoridated, e.g. Nigeria, and the patient has high risk for dental caries and other dental diseases, then we'll talk about all these other supplements coming in. But if the patient is good to go, then exposure to just the fluoride in toothpaste is enough for that patient.
The organizers urge Nigerians to cultivate the habit of brushing their teeth twice daily to have a good oral health. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're still watching CoreTV Prime Time News. We'll take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Just stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back now to business. In celebration of the 20th anniversary of the 1995 Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action and International Women's Day, the Nigerian Stock Exchange NSE, in partnership with United Nations Global Compact and other stakeholders, has said achieving gender equality at workplace will give birth to business and the productivity of a nation. Speaking at the closing gong ceremony on Friday, the Executive Director, Business Development, NSC, Haruna Jallo Waziri, commended women and partners for investing their time and resources in advancing gender equality and celebrating women. Sounding the closing gong of the exchange, the UN Women Country Program Director, Grace Ongile, reminded women that it's time to stimulate national and international government agencies into reframing, reviewing, where applicable, policies that will realize gender equality and equity. She added the closing gong ceremony for gender equality will be the starting point of a fast-tracked journey to equality in rights and opportunity for Nigerian women. The Nigerian teledensity, also known as the telephone penetration, has finally hit 100% mark. This information was contained in the Nigerian Communications Commission monthly subscriber data in Lagos on Friday. According to the data, the country's teledensity stands at 100.59% as of the end of January 2015, with the active lines, phone numbers on the telecommunications operators network reaching 140,822,483. Teledensity measures the percentage of a country's population with access to telephony services as determined by the active subscriber base. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it will issue new treasury bills worth 995 6.5 billion naira in the second quarter of 2015. The bank made this known in the debt issuance calendar posted on its website on Friday. It says the bills would range from 91 and 182 days tenor to a year tenor. The 91 and 182-day tenor are worth 202.25 billion naira and 236.81 billion naira respectively. The one-year tenor would be worth 556.46 billion naira. During the period, it would settle an earlier bill worth 945.9 billion naira, which also ranged from 91 days tenor to 1 year. And now we join Sabina Izuku for Stock Market Report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izuku. The equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All Shares Index appreciated by 2.25% to close at 31,049.37 basis points. The market capitalization increased to close at 10.36 trillion naira. In all, the total value of 601.3 million units of shares, valued at 7.45 billion naira, were exchanged in 4,713 deals. Mobil oil topped the gainers chart to close at 161 naira, with 5 naira 20 copper price difference, followed by Total Oil, Guarantee Trust Bank, Zenith Bank, and Corn Oil. On the flip side, Separate Oil topped the losers chart, followed by Presco, Capstone, Flour Mill, and Julius Berger. Meanwhile, Access Bank topped the traders chart, with First Bank of Nigerians holding trailing, United Bank for Africa, Transcorp, and First City Monument Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you so much, Sabina. Now to Franco Malaper for sports stories.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, no, he takes Toyol with a flying lead.
Ball taking them out in the lead.
Thank you for joining us on Sports News tonight. I am Frank Omalape. Upon FIFA calling of the match against West African perennial rivals Ghana slated for the 29th of March in London for reasons hinged on FIFA rules which forbids a national team to play international friendlies within 2 continents involving more than 5 hours of flying, South African team have agreed to fill the gap after initially denying the possibility of such a match. Nigeria will now play Bolivia on March 26 in Uyo before flying out to South Africa for another friendly with Bafana 3 days later. Last November, Bafana upstaged the Super Eagles in Uyo to qualify for the 2015 AFCON after they were forced to a 2-2 draw. South Africa have recorded only a win friendly against Nigeria that was a 2-1 victory in the Mandela Challenge in November 2004. And now the opening game in the Nigerian Professional Football League between Heartland of Owerri and champions Kano Pillars have been postponed to a later date after 5 players in the Pillar squad suffer injuries on the way to Remo State to take on their opponent Heartland. Other games will still take place as Bayelsa United will play host to Lobby Stars. Kwara United will travel to Port Harcourt to take on Dolphins. Alkanemi Warriors luck it out with Nasarawa United, while Enyimba trade tackles with Akwa United. In other features, Gewa takes on Abia Warriors. Newcomers Ifeanyuba play host to Y Wolves. Sharks versus Sunshine Star. Taraba versus Enugu Rangers, while Wiki Tories will go head-to-head with Shooting Stars. The third place, Atletico Madrid, will continue their tight defense when they play host to fellow city rivals Real Madrid on Saturday in the Spanish League. The Deportivo are expected to duke it out with La Liga rivals Sevilla at the Municipal the Reyes Stadium. In other features, Elche will face Almeria, while Real Sociedad takes on Espanyol, Villarreal versus Celta de Vigo, Atletico de Madrid versus Valencia, and La Liga sensation Barcelona takes on Rayo Vallecano on Sunday. In German Bundesliga, Sport Club February will be going against Werder Bremen. Hannover 96 will duke it out with FC Bayern Munich. Hamburgers against Type 2 contender Borussia Dortmund. FC Schalke Offer will take on TSG 1899 Hopfen. FC Osbal against VLF Wolfsburg. And Manzen against Borussia Mönchengladbach on Saturday. FC Köln will be facing Eintracht Frankfurt, while it's SC Padevo 07 versus Bayern 04 Leverkusen on Sunday. And now the Italian League this Saturday will see Sampdoria go all out against Cagliari, while Milan will duke it out with Verona. However, on Sunday, Casena will be playing against Palermo, Udinese against Torino, Parma against Atlanta, and Poli against Genoa, and Chievo against 9th place International. And WBA World Welterweight Champions Keith Thurman has insisted he wants to take on Karl Brook in the United Kingdom and believes Amir Khan is overrated. Thurman believes Khan has not done enough in the 140 division to be at the front of the queue after May 2nd and is more than happy to take on Brook. Thurman is also taking on Robert Guerrero in Las Vegas on Saturday night and is likely to be the mandatory challenger to the winner of Floyd Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. Brook is expected to make his first defense of his IBF title against Jojo Dan on March 28th. Well, then that's a wrap on Sports News tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. The rest of the news continues shortly.